Good evening, race fans, and welcome to DRL TV. Thank you for tuning in tonight. My name is Getty Buckner, and it will be my pleasure to bring you coverage of the DRL Winter Oval Series. Tonight, it's all about speed as we visit Las Vegas Motor Speedway in Las Vegas, Nevada. This asphalt 1.5 mile speed blender has been giving race fans some of the best stock car racing since its reconfiguration in 2011. With speeds that will reach north of 190 miles an hour tonight. Tonight will be high stakes, high reward. With me tonight is David Wellborn. Now, David, we've had restrictor plate racing week 1. Week 2, we went to Rockingham for what I would consider short track racing. What adjustments will these drivers have to make for our first visit to the bread and butter of auto racing, the 1.5 mile oval?
Well, you know, Getty, tire management is everything at this track. It is usually at most tracks, but the adjustments that these drivers are going to have to make is, you know, finding that line with this new dynamic package. Temperature is right now is like 74 degrees outside temperature, but the track temperature itself is over 100 degrees, and that's going to really make things slick out there tonight.
Yeah, slick indeed. Now the drivers are just about set to qualify for this evening's race. Last minute changes here. We have extended the race. We have actually doubled it. So it says 50 laps there on the graphic, but we are actually going to be treated to 100 laps here at Las Vegas Motor Speedway. And I tell you what, that couldn't be better news, in my opinion.
Yeah, I agree. You know, the broadcast was just really, you know, not to say that they were short or anything, but I like the idea of doubling it, get some of these cautions out of the way early, allows for the fans to see some good green flag racing, and it allows for a lot more of a strategy to come into play here at these tracks that we'll be coming to here in the late for the rest of the season here.
Yeah, no, with tonight being Las Vegas, next week we will also be going to Michigan, which again, that is another one of those speed tracks that we'll see the highest speeds probably that we'll see all of this Winter Oval Series. These K&N cars that we're using for the Winter Oval Series, they can take it. They can take the speed. They can actually take a little bit of punishment here tonight. But not a lot, because again, with the aero package that we have here, this is going to be something drivers aren't going to have, the luxury of that they had last week, which is, banging doors or, anything of that nature. I mean, this is very aero-sensitive, a very aero-sensitive track here, and one little misstep here could really ruin your whole evening.
Yeah, and the same will go for Michigan as well. You're going to really have to do a lot of drafting at Michigan. And if you don't get her done, if you can't keep up and have a partner, Michigan is almost, I want to say, it's almost like a Dega or Daytona when it comes to these K&N cars.
Yeah, it does. I mean, it is pretty similar, just with the amount of speed that they carry. And these K&N cars, they've proven this so far this Winter Oval Series and in our Pro Series as well. They hold up very well. This is a very, still a very relevant car here on iRacing, even though it's been since retired from the AB era for quite some time. But we're using it here tonight, David, and we're going to be really, really fortunate because Las Vegas gives great racing. In the first opening laps, when everyone has no tire wear, you can actually go almost full throttle the whole way around this track in this car. So, it's going to be key where these guys qualify. What's also going to be very key is maneuvering through traffic.
Yeah, that's going to be a big part here at Nevada, but for the most part, people will get out of the way. I just want to see people stay off the wall, stop these self spins. Especially coming off of 4. And as hot as the track temperature is here tonight, if you get on that gas just a little too hard, you're going to be eating the fence one way or the other.
Yeah, no, absolutely. As we are just about wrapping up qualifying here, let's bring up the point standings through 2 races here. Steve Turner, one of the newcomers here to the Dynasty Racing League, is actually leading the points over one of our mainstays, John Theodore, Ryan Hesgard, Ryan Barry, Logan McNally. You can see a lot of new faces here, and that's kind of the exciting part about the Winter Oval Series, is we are able to bring in new recruits and see how they do here with our high-end talent that we have. One driver that we're looking at right now is Mr. Jonathan Schwartz. Wade Hustad is also joining us tonight. This is kind of a stacked field, so we'll see if guys like Steve Turner, Ryan Barry, Nicholas Lavelle, if they can kind of keep up with some of these guys, because we know Wade Hustad and Jonathan Schwartz, they won many, many races last year through all the series that we run. And just a little side note, Wade Hustad is our champion for the A car. So very, very awesome to see all these guys come out, and it's going to be really cool to see these names mix it up.
Well, the one thing I don't see here in the top 20, we got Ryan Barry, who is still racing, and he is still, what is he credited with, a win here? I don't think that's been changed. I thought Spears ended up getting the win.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no, might be thinking of something else. I don't know. I broadcast so many races, it's not even funny.
No, I mean, you are the man, David. You are the man. But it looks like Jonathan Schwartz was the one who ended up getting our pole position here. Again, talking about how important that is, being able to, A, jump the start, and B, lead this field through turns 1 and 2, 3 and 4, and back around wide open. And I expect we'll probably, hopefully get a caution, not hopefully, we'll hopefully get, only 1 or 2 cautions here with these fields stacked up, but I imagine this is the type of race where these guys can get strung out pretty quickly.
Yeah, I think we're going to have anywhere between 23 and 25 drivers taking this field here tonight. I would like to see it get strung out a little bit. I would love to see a lot of green flag racing. Most importantly, though, I want to see a green flag pit stop. But as you mentioned, Wade Hustad did not have the qualifying time that he was expecting. I believe he brushed the wall and on his second lap and was unable to put that nice qualifying time down. He's going to start way in the back.
Right. Now, as we are going through the starting lineup here, we'll try to maybe pull in Jonathan Schwartz here real quick and see kind of what he's thinking here tonight. Jonathan Schwartz, you got a copy, sir?
Yes, sir, I got you.
This is the broadcast booth here. Welcome back. We haven't seen you here in a little bit in the oval side of DRL. What's the game plan for tonight?
The game plan is just to stay out front and avoid the wrecks that are inevitable with these races. So,
right.
Just doing it for fun. So, we'll see if we can get the win tonight.
Awesome, Jonathan. Well, hey, welcome back, and good luck tonight. Congratulations on the pole.
All right, thank you.
That was Jonathan Schwartz, our pole sitter, as he will lead these guys down to the green flag, David. Now, this is, again, talk about 1.5 mile ovals. This is the bread and butter of stock car racing. These guys might be a little antsy here at the beginning. Hopefully they show some patience, but you're going to see similar pack racing that you would see almost like with the truck series, where it's just very hard to get separation in the first few laps. So one wrong move by one driver can ruin a lot of people's race tonight. But I do believe we get one fast repair, so hopefully, if you have to use it, you don't have to, you get to use it once, and hopefully you don't have to use it again. But we'll see what happens tonight here, David, as we are just about set to go green.
So I'm going to tell you a little secret about the fast repairs after we get going.
Pace car getting ready to duck off here at the pit road, and we will see the green flag as soon as Jonathan Schwartz decides to hit that accelerator. Brings him down nice and slow. And we are off.
I'm going to go ahead and call my pick out here tonight. Mr. Hustad has not been in any of these races here of the late. I think he's been here for the same thing. Come out and win. And even though he's going to be starting back here in the back, he is going to be my pick for tonight.
Well, he's got his work cut out for him. As you can see, the 2x2x2 side-by-side racing almost all the way back through this field. The top four are single file, but behind them it is just an absolute mess of cars. You see him coming off turn 4 here, across the start-finish line. Carl Dotson on the outside of Nathan Jurgensen, with Jonathan Schwartz leading that first lap. And look at that mess behind him. My goodness, as we watch the battle for the lead, you can see behind, these guys are still double file all the way around, David.
People are trying to stick their nose in a little bit and do some 3-wide racing back here in the back, as I'm monitoring back here in the back as well. Nice to see John Mullins back in here doing a little bit of something. Got Matthew Classmith in the back here. So, yeah, and yeah, they're 3 wide. Looks like one of the Energizer Bunny cars, the 33, is electing to fall back just a little bit. Don't like what he's seeing there. 3 wide down the front stretch.
Yeah, we are riding on board with Matt Kleinschmidt, and he can see just the mess in front of him, but, you know, you kind of want to wait. That way you don't get caught up in it, but again, these fresh tires don't last forever, and you want to take full advantage of it while you can as he looks to the inside of Chris James here.
Now, that's another gentleman you're going to have to watch out for. He's hungry. He wants to win. Man, I just cannot get over these cars the way they're handling it here tonight.
Yeah, it's a
lot of good moves.
Oh, man. Almost 3 wide, well, maybe 4 wide back there. That's Chris James ducks inside of Ben Izinga. Man, these guys are absolutely giving it everything they got here. Lap 5 of 100 with Carl Dotson, who is our new leader. And we have a caution. The 38 car goes around.
Yeah, I was monitoring that very closely. And it looks like Matthew Ponte, I'm really not exactly sure. I think he's going to come up just a little bit and hit that 71 car. You got Wade Hustad's back here all over the back end of him, so.
And we are trying to get on board.
I think Wade got him. I think Wade accidentally touched him in the back end there.
And with that, we might see some green flag, and there it is again. We see the Wade Hustad was just there inside. I do apologize for the slight technical difficulties, but we'll take it. We'll take this opportunity. Caution number 1, Matthew Pont gets a little bit of contact there with Wade Hustad, and we will be right back after these commercial breaks, you guys, to get the green flag here at the Las Vegas 100.
To the front bumper, and he hits him again now. Rayon Fowler into the outside wall.
He's going to pass nearly 3 cars down that front straightaway, and he's going to get them all done with. What amazing!
To the inside goes Logan Cloudman is going to touch in. Pit press sideways. What a save!
Look to the outside, and Trunkgate goes off. De Jong into second place.
I'm going for the switchback. Oh, pinpoint driving.
It's howling down to the inside.
Trying this contact though.
And wide left of the racetrack. Chris Renner drives it back down underneath, and he takes that second spot right back. Joker goes to Garrett Lowe.
Garrett Lowe should take victory with all that contact.
He's going to try and make the move around the outside the parabolica. That's not going to work, but he's going to try and get the cut back here. Get the run out the parabolica. That's beautifully done there. Michael Schubert, there's a little bit of door banging as well.
The most realistic online racing sim ever made. This is iRacing. Detailed laser scan tracks, fully dynamic real world cars, and over 50 series to choose from. 6 online world championships offering over $100,000 in annual prizes. This is the original esport racing game. This is iRacing.
And welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Las Vegas 100. After that little commercial break, we are just about set to go green here as they are still pacing. Pace car still has the lights on, so we still have at least one more lap to go. Lap 8 of 100, we saw Jonathan Schwartz lead. We saw Carl Dotson have the lead up until that caution came out, and then most of the leaders did pit. So that we are now up to date here after that incident involving Matthew Pont and I believe it was Wade Hustad. So again, I believe we do have fast repair here. Let's take a look here at Matthew Pont's car. It looks just as clean as it did when it started. So lucky for him, he did receive a little bit of contact or a little bit of damage here. But David, really, that's all it takes.
Well, I don't believe what we saw was real damage. I think it was just basically a glitch there from iRacing. I know he didn't take a fast repair, but the only driver still out is Stephen Turner. He did not come down pit road.
So Stephen Turner, not only does he elect the outside, but he elects that tires maybe not that important. And unfortunately, he's about to find out. I mean, maybe leading in lap was important, but Carl Dotson, Jonathan Schwartz, Adam de Blasio, I'm going to guess that he's probably going to get swallowed up here pretty quick. Hopefully that doesn't cause an incident. David, one thing we do like to do here at least once a race, and this is a perfect opportunity when we have all these cars here, still 27 cars in the race. We're going to rev this thing up here as soon as we take the green flag. What do you think, bud?
I think that sounds great.
Absolutely. So as soon as we get the green flag, we will rev this thing up. So make sure to adjust your volume there on YouTube because it could get a little loud. We're looking at the top 5. We do have Turner, Dotson, Schwartz, de Blasio, and Chris James still up there in the top 5. And the pace car is getting ready to duck out here. So let's rev it up, you guys. Music to my ears, David. Music to my ears. During that transaction there, we had Adam de Blasio actually take the lead over from Steve Turner. 3 wide there for second place, though. Turner actually kind of holding his own there on those tires. Carl Dotson is, however, certainly trying to find a way around him.
Well, Stephen Turner was really fast in practice. I look for him to maybe be doing some strategy as far as track position is concerned. He does seem to be, like you say, holding his own. So he's continually chopping the nose on Carl Dotson. I don't think that's going to play too well for him if he keeps doing that.
Still lots of two wide racing as we look at Ryan Hesgaard back here. fighting with Mr. Wade Hustad, who's already found his way up into the 8th spot.
I tell you, Turner just ran Carl Dodson up the track, and then Ford just about got into him there just a second ago. Carl Dodson probably going to be getting a little bit angry here in just a few more laps if that keeps happening for him.
Yeah, we can see Ryan Hesgaard trying to find a way past Chris James here. One of the places to make a move here is obviously on exit, but there is not a lot of room because in order to get all the speed you can on exit, 3 wide here with going into turn 1, Ryan Hesgaard does decide to back out of it just a little bit. But on exit here, there's just not a lot of room because you have to use as much of the track as you can in these K&N cars to try to keep the momentum up. And that doesn't always, it's not always the best recipe for side-by-side racing. But with only that one little incident, I haven't really seen any other contact between other cars here. But certainly seen some blocking here tonight, David.
Yeah, it's getting real dicey up front. Wade Hustad's already made his way up into the 5th position, but Ben Izinga is really pouring on the juice here tonight. Just don't know how much to say about Izinga. Man, he's really come in good here of late, but he's getting ready to be challenged by Wade Hustad, as Wade Hustad is working the inside of Jonathan Ford right now.
Again, watching this battle here, Wade Hustad looking inside Jonathan Schwartz, but again, if you don't have that run on the outside, it's very difficult to pass here. The preferred groove here at Las Vegas in 1 and 2 is actually the middle to high groove. The low groove is so bumpy here, very hard to pass, so if you can actually end up pulling it off here, that just means you really, really know what you're doing.
Well, you know, I don't see Springer in this race. But I tell you one thing, if Highline Springer was here, he'd show you how to get it done on the outside.
And we see Wade Hustad almost clears him, but he just can't quite pull it off here. With Jonathan Schwartz getting that enormous run on the outside there, Wade Hustad's going to have to slide in front of him, and he's going to have to do it right now, and he does.
But I'll be looking for that crossover move here in just a few seconds as Schwartz is still all over the back end of it. But Izinga's really doing a really good job here at being all over the back end of Turner. But the biggest thing is the blues, or you said it, I can't pronounce it. We do. De Blasio.
Yeah,
De Blasio.
Adam de Blasio, he has pulled a little bit of a lead out since these guys were battling so hard. Obviously, he doesn't have anything to do with except you know, his own thoughts up there, pouring out a gap of almost 1.2 seconds here.
Well, as long as these drivers continue to do battle back here in the back, he's going to continue to pull away. You really got to do some drafting here if you want to catch the leader. If you keep racing 3 wide like they're trying to do here up front, you're going to slow the momentum down. You can't get all the speed that you want if you're battling another car. If you can just hook up with somebody and just ride, you can gain that much more momentum going into these turns. But it looks like Wade Hustad is not going to settle for third. He's going to try to get around Izinga and maybe try to run down de Blasio.
Yeah, Steve Turner has now officially been, you know, introduced to Wade Hustad as he got passed by Ben Izinga and Wade Hustad almost in the same corner here. Wade Hustad actually making that inside line work. One thing he's got to be careful of, though, is putting too much heat in those tires because, you know, again, the preferred line 1 and 2 is the middle. There is no denying that, and the longer that you stay on that bottom, the hotter those tires get, the faster they wear here, as he does slide just up in front of Ben Izinga. Very nice move. And that is our A-Series champion, Mr. Wade Hustad. Sets his sights on Adam de Blasio, who in that short amount of time gained 4/10 more of a second over Wade Hustad and company behind. We got 3 wide racing behind these guys with Nate Jurgensen. My goodness.
But that's another newcomer to the track. As we got 89 just got up into the wall. That was John Theodore. He got up into the wall just a little bit right there. But, you know, Nathan Jurgensen, he is new to this whole DRL racing, but I'll tell you, I've been watching this young man coming up through the fields in the races that he's been doing. He is a really fast driver. He knows what he's doing. He can handle these cars. Really looking forward to seeing him come and throw his hat in the ring when we go back racing for this season.
Yeah, no, and I have actually personal experience running alongside of him in the Pro Series, which is a short track-based series that we run on Sundays. And Jurgensen, not only is he patient, but he's also fast. A combination that can be quite lethal here, as we see that also in people like Wade Hustad and Anthony Burroughs. Very patient, but they know exactly what they're doing, and every move they make is calculated. But looking here, one person who has not really enjoyed this last restart here is Carl Dotson, who restarted in second, has dropped all the way back down to 15th with Bill Edwards inside of him just now, and John Dubuque ahead. I'm not sure if Carl, what happened to Carl, if he is just kind of, it looks like he does have a little bit of rear end damage. So Carl Dotson, we kind of saw him scrape the wall a couple laps ago. Did not realize that much damage had been done. So Carl Dotson really almost looking for a caution here at this point, as we are just a quarter of the way through this race.
I hope you don't get it, to be honest with you. Not that I want any bad luck to happen to Mr. Dotson, but I just really want to see this really long green flag run go in. I would love to see it continue on until we get our first green flag pit stops.
Yeah. Here up at the front, Wade Hustad has kind of chopped into that lead, but everyone else is just about single file here. Looking here at this battle of Jonathan Schwartz and Ben Izinga. At this point in the race, it'd almost be wise for Ben Izinga to kind of just sit back behind Jonathan Schwartz and just, make sure that he's not trying to wear out tires. And just as I say that, Ben Izinga to the inside. Of course.
I was just getting ready to say, you don't think that's going to really happen after what we saw last night, or what was it in the Pro Series, man. Ben Izinga was really turning it on in the Pro Series. He was getting around the track really well, and I think he's more comfortable on these short tracks, half mile, mile and a half tracks. He's really like I said, when he first started this series or started racing with us, he was always in the back. Maybe caught up in a couple accidents that was his fault, and in some that was not his fault. But he's actually calmed down. He's got in with the S2R guys, and to be honest with you, if he keeps listening to those gentlemen down there, he's going to come in and start really doing really good in these series.
Well, speaking of S2R, Papa S2R is just behind him. Ryan Hesgaard, the team owner of S2R. He's in 5th place here, having a nice solid run. And he and Ben Izinga, again, 4th and 5th. Steve Turner just behind him, who he has also lost a couple of positions on that restart. He was our leader with Nicholas Lavelle, Matt Kleinschmidt, Chris James kind of all over the back of him here. But Wade Hustad has started to slowly chew into that lead of Adam Blasio. And once, obviously, that battle starts to come to fruition, we will dig up front. Ooh, who is that? Chris James absolutely smokes that outside wall.
I'm going to have to take a quick break, Getty. I'll be right back.
10-4, David. 3 wide up here up front. Was 3 wide for a second, and Ryan Hesgaard gets a huge run on Ben Izinga as they head down the backstretch here. So that will be the battle for 4th and 5th. Just behind them, Steve Turner, Nicholas Lavelle, Matt Kleinschmidt, Nathan Jurgensen, and John Theodore. They are the, I guess it's kind of the second pack here, if you will. Looking back here, they're just not going away. They have really been fighting it out this entire time here. And this is where all the action is right now. As about 7th on back, they are probably within about 2 seconds of each other here. Still side-by-side racing behind them. John Theodore doesn't look like that damage that he might have taken when scraping that wall has really affected him too much. Still riding around there in the 10th position. But Matt Kleinschmidt with a great run so far. We mentioned him a couple times. Nicholas Lavelle, Steve Turner, and behind them, John Dubuque, who's actually moved up a couple spots here on this restart. And while these guys are just about single file here, we will take a quick commercial break, and we will probably, hopefully, be bringing you some green flag pit stops here in just a little bit. Guys, this is DRL TV. My name is Getty Buckner, and this is the Las Vegas 100. We will return in 60 seconds.
Assist to the front bumper, and he hits him again now. Rayon Fowler into the outside wall.
He's going to pass nearly 3 cars down that front straightaway, and he's going to get them all done with. What amazing!
Race lead to the inside goes Logan Cloudman is going to touch in. Pit press sideways. What a save!
Look to the outside as Cronkite goes off. De Jong into second place.
Going for the switchback. Oh, pinpoint driving.
It's Howling down to the inside.
Trying this contact though.
Slide left of the racetrack. Chris Renner drives it back down underneath, and he takes that second spot right back. Joker goes to Garrett Lowe.
Garrett Lowe should take victory with all that contact. He's going to try and make the move around the outside the parabolica. That's not going to work, but he's going to try and get the cutback here. Get the run out the parabolica. That's beautifully done there. Michael Schubert, there's a little bit of door banging as well.
And just before we came back here from commercial break, caution here as we will watch the replay with David Wright scraping that outside wall. Comes down into, I believe it's Thomas Harmon. We'll have to get a better angle of that here.
It is the 68 of Harmon.
Watching this 3 wide coming out here. Chris James in the middle. Harmon down low. And boom! Just nothing you can do there. Just kind of ran out of real estate. These tires were quite worn. They had put almost 30 laps on these tires. And when you're going as fast as they are, there's really just it's just nothing you can do. If you don't make that quick adjustment, it really ruins your day. So that is Dave.
Who was the sandwich in that? Who was the meat in that sandwich right there?
The meat in that sandwich was Chris James with Thomas Harmon on the inside. So again, under caution here, lap 37 of 100. Several cars involved. Thomas Harmon, he's always one of those guys that is fighting for the lead in almost every race that we go to. And David Wright now, obviously that's just a racing incident there, David. Really nothing you can do, unfortunately. But an unfortunate end to his evening.
I don't believe it's going to be an end to his evening, as we do have a fast repair, remember?
Correct. I'm sitting here watching him on pit road, seeing if he's going to use it. We will follow up on that. Looking here at Thomas Harmon, who still has damage and is still sitting on pit road. Maybe it's possible there isn't a fast repair. I'm not exactly sure. You think by now they would have used it. But anyway, let's go up here to the front.
I think they turned them off. I think we had that discussion, remember? They turned the fast repairs off on these races, and the only races that we still have a fast repair in is our road series. So,
yeah, we see Chris James exiting the pits. He's still exiting the pits with tons of damage, so there is no fast repair, guys, tonight. That is my bad for giving false hope to any of the fans of any of these drivers. But with one, the lights are out on the pace car. Wade Hustad ended up taking the lead on pit road. Adam de Blasio will start right behind him in third. Jonathan Schwartz to his outside. Steve Turner, Nathan Jurgensen will be in the top 5. Ryan Hesgaard. Nicholas Lavelle, John Theodore, Matt Kleinschmidt, and Austin Nielsen will be your top 10 here. Other notable drivers, Carl Dotson, who was running up front, is back in 16th. Ben Izinga back in 18th. And of course, talking about David Wright, Chris James, and Thomas Harmon, they are, you see them bringing up the rear of the field here. So we'll see, David, what Wade Hustad can do with a little bit of clean air here. And now all these guys have fresh tires. I don't think fuel will be an issue. I'm almost quite certain they can make it to the end of the race now. So we'll see what these guys got.
You really think they can go another, what, 70 laps on fuel? I don't think so. I think the fuel mileage is about 50 or 55.
You're certainly probably more right than I am, that is for sure. Math has never been a strong suit of mine, David, as we both know. Green flag is out. Wade Hustad, Jonathan Schwartz taking into turn 1 here. Both of those guys got a really good jump, but Jonathan Schwartz is not letting Wade Hustad get away, as he does get to the inside of him and is 3 wide behind him with Hesgaard, Adam de Blasio, and Steve Turner.
And it looks like Wade Hustad is going to relinquish the lead here and let Schwartz, well, I said he was going to let him go, but
that run on the outside is just too much. It's just too much. We'll see what happens here. Is Wade going to pinch, or is Wade going to stay up high and try to get that run? It's kind of a decision that you have to make. You can only do one or the other. He decides to get that run off instead of pinching, and that seems to be a good decision that he has pulled back up ahead of Jonathan Schwartz.
Well, if you pinch a driver down like that, you run the risk of that driver coming into you, and then there's a second variable in there. If you continue to pinch, you're going to continue to burn that right rear and right front tire up. And as I predict, we are going to get green flag pit stops here this evening. That's probably going to slow up your race here tonight, as you know, you don't want to burn them tires up so quickly that you fall way back and start losing track position.
Of course, not to ignore the back guys. I mean, this has been where all the action has been most of this race here. They've been 3 wide back here. Bill Edwards, Chris Pope, Seth Noel, those guys have been 3 wide since basically the restart now. Now they're only 2 wide here. Chris Pope on the inside, Bill Edwards on the outside, the 56 of John Dubuque on the inside of him. This has been incredible racing up here, as Wade Hustad has pulled out just about 2/10 there over Jonathan Schwartz. But Adam de Blasio is reeling him in. Steve Turner, Ryan Hesgaard, and Nicholas Lavelle right behind him, and also Nathan Jurgensen, who we talked about earlier. This is, kind of almost anticipated Wade Hustad might be able to kind of almost pull away here with this clean air. We saw how fast he was on that previous run, but we're not seeing that right now.
Well, I will tell you right now, I don't know who painted Bill Edwards' car, but that thing is awesome. I want a paint job like that.
The car that Bill Edwards is currently running, I almost guarantee, has been painted by Bill Edwards himself, who he is the head designer there at Fatal Concepts Paints. So Bill Edwards showing off his colors tonight here at Las Vegas Motor Speedway.
That is an awesome, beautiful car. It really is.
But up here up front, Jonathan Schwartz has re-caught Wade Hustad here, and he's going to try maybe a little bit on the outside here, and they're single file behind him. And this little this top group with the caboose being Matt Kleinschmidt has kind of pulled away from the second pack, which is led by John Theodore, which you mentioned earlier could have just a little bit of damage here. But John Theodore, Austin Nielsen, Bill Edwards do top off that second pack.
And get back on an update for Thomas Harmon. I've seen his engine blow, so he'll be out of the race for at least 30 minutes.
That's a tough break for him, as we're riding on board with Jonathan Schwartz, who's trying to chase down Wade Hustad. Looking at these points again, you see Thomas Harmon has yet to race, so he needs to start building points. This is a very short series, but it's certainly not going to get what he needs tonight.
No, you can't gain too many positions sitting on pit road, that's for sure.
Right. Looking back at Jonathan Schwartz from Wade Hustad as he goes all the way down to the apron, which is basically the preferred racing line here at Las Vegas. Very flat. Jonathan Schwartz trying to look inside here, not sure if he's going to get there.
Well, both of these gentlemen know how to get around this track. This one, and they know how to get around Phoenix. So, and it's pretty much the same racing line that you have to run here at Las Vegas that you run at Phoenix. You cut that inside all the way down on the apron right there, and then you swing back up on the track to try to make that wide turn going in down into turn 1. And we know that Wade Hustad and Schwartz know how to get that done.
Looking here again, Jonathan Schwartz doing everything he possibly can to get to the back of Wade Hustad. You know, at some point in this, you know, as this race starts to wind down, as we are just about to approach halfway, I mean, Jonathan Schwartz, we know him well enough. He's not afraid to use the bumper just a little bit, try to upset the car of Wade Hustad. Something to, I think it's a little too early for that now, but something to keep an eye on later if he's unable to find a clean, clear line around Wade Hustad, which, of course, as most of us know, isn't the easiest thing to do.
Well, an update on Harmon. Harmon's engine did not blow terminally. He says he's only got about 10 minutes of damage, so he'll be back out there to try to gain some valuable points.
Now, this battle for the lead, kind of taking it easy here again. Let's go look at the back here, where again all the action seems to be the 71 of Austin Nielsen trying to get past or maneuver around Bill Edwards and John Theodore here. These guys have been too. Oh, we got a spin, John Dubuque. John Dubuque is able to save it here. We will watch a replay on that. We will go on board with John Dubuque here and see what happened here.
And we do stay green, so
I have to look at that one more time. We were watching from the onboard view here.
I think he just catches that apron right there.
We also have a yellow out.
We have a yellow flag.
Actually, John Dubuque had a little bit of help from the car behind him. I believe that was the 7 of Chris Pope. So John Dubuque being introduced to Chris Pope there on the exit. And we'll have to look here at where...
Austin Nielsen brings out the yellow.
So what we were watching with John Dubuque was not the yellow. But this is Bill Edwards right behind Austin Nielsen going into turn 1, and he just absolutely rips him around. Nielsen, almost able to save it, does get a lot of right side damage, keeps it locked down. So in just a few moments we've seen patience kind of run out here a little bit, as we saw a little bit of a tap from Chris Pope and a little bit of tap from Bill Edwards here, as Austin Nielsen certainly gets the worst end of that deal.
Well, the closing rate is so quick here, and if you don't let off at the same point that the driver does in front of you, that's going to happen every time. You got to anticipate that driver does not have the same back out point that you have. You know, some of these drivers like to drive it in real deep. A lot of drivers know that the farther they go, the farther they're going to have to start backing up the turns. So maybe Edwards is not backing up the turns as much as Nielsen is.
Well, one thing also to think of is, you know, there is a tactic that's used when you're trying to overtake a guy. If you can kind of get your bumper on him going into a corner, maybe, again, like what I was just mentioning, upset his car ever so slightly, perhaps maybe push him into the corner. That way he kind of has to let off the gas a little more than he wanted to, as we're looking at the race off pit road. Ooh, that's going to be a close one.
Wow, the 24 almost spun it back down into the 58 of Jonathan Schwartz. Yeah, de Blasio.
Watch that again. Yeah, absolutely. That was a close one. But anyway, going back to what I was talking about before, another thing that we do see at times is you kind of push him into that corner, and we saw the 71 absolutely whip it around. That was probably one of the fastest spins I've ever seen. It did not take him very long to rotate 180 degrees.
Well, I don't know how it works here in iRacing, but if you can get your car, these bumpers don't match up. So, as you say, pushing, I know in a real car, if you tried that, you'd raise the back end up and the tires would be off the ground. Mm-hmm. So maybe iRacing's done a little something with that to simulate the back end getting raised up like that, or just maybe it was a hard hit. a lot harder than what he was expecting.
Right. Well, I mean, we've had an action-packed race so far, just a little bit past halfway. You know, we will have about 45, 44 laps to go when we do get the green flag here. Wade Hustad, Adam de Blasio. Adam de Blasio will start second this time. Jonathan Schwartz will start third instead of it being the other way around. It was Jonathan Schwartz who started to the outside of Wade Hustad and was able to maintain a pretty close gap to Wade Hustad throughout that run. I don't know, David. I mean, what are you seeing? Are you seeing anything from these cars right now that is surprising you, or is it kind of, you know, almost what you'd expect here?
No, it's exactly what I expected here, but I still believe we're going to get that long green flag run in. You know, it's going to be really close if they even have to pit now with less than 50 laps to go in this race. We are working caution number 11, caution lap number 9. So it'll be 10 caution laps when they make this pass right here as we get ready to go back green flag racing. I have noticed that the track temperature has dropped all the way down to 93 degrees, though.
Yeah, one of the new things that iRacing has implemented is we kind of saw maybe, you know, a little bit of cloud cover. You know, they've done such a good job with the weather here. Obviously, you know, the clouds, you know, the cloud cover and all that stuff, it affects the track. It's asphalt, so, you know, if the sun is blocked, it's not going to heat it up as much. Obviously, that's just basic standard science. So iRacing has done a really good job of replicating that. So some parts of the track might also be cooler than other parts. So, you know, as the shade begins to draw here in 1 and 2, all of a sudden you're going to see that line. Maybe some people start really trying to get close to that wall where it's been in the shade the most. Really, really interesting what iRacing has done, and it actually kind of throws a wrench in some of these veterans here that maybe are used to doing it one way, but now they kind of have to do it another.
Well, now in our old dynamic weather, I believe the track temperature did change a little bit, but with this new dynamic package like you're talking about, the shade is going to really play a difference. As I don't know if the video is still out or not, but they really showed exactly what happens with the driving line and everything with this new dynamic package and how the shade really affects the track. So yeah, if you can get as close to that wall as you can in that cool track conditions, you're going to have a lot more grip, but I'm not sure if most of these drivers have figured that out yet.
Right. Well, we are just about ready to go green here, and we'll see what this rest of this race here has to offer as Wade Hustad brings him down real nice and slow, stacks him up just a bit, and green flag is out here. He will try to get that jump on Adam de Blasio, Jonathan Schwartz, Nicholas Lovell, and Steve Turner back inside the top 5 for the first time in quite some time. So, again, the top 4 there, single file. Wade Hustad, again, a good jump. Jonathan Schwartz, though, again, attacking on the restart. Very, very good on these short runs, Jonathan Schwartz is.
It's Nicholas Lovell.
Oh, no, I'm talking behind Adam in third place there, Mr. Jonathan Schwartz.
No, I'm just letting you know that you said it Lovell. It's
it's going to be a while before I get some of these new names nailed down here, David.
I'm a Southern boy, and you try to get me to pronounce some of these names. Man, I can butcher them like nobody.
Now, unlike some of the other restarts we've seen in the past, not really side by side all the way back. Obviously, there's still close racing, but we saw almost in that what we want to call the second pack that we've seen tonight. They were side by side for several positions. Now there's only 1 or 2 cars really side by side right now.
We've got no Lovell battling out here with Turner. He'll beat a Taco Bell car in that number 83 there, trying to do battle with the Geico 13. You know, this guy, he knows what he's doing too, but he's going to have to use a lot of patience because he's got Kleinsmith right behind him.
Yeah, we are watching that battle along with the battle there for the lead as well with Adam de Blasio. I'm very curious as to see. We've seen what Jonathan Schwartz's strategy would be to try to pass. Maybe Adam de Blasio has a little something else, some other tricks up his sleeve here for Wade Hustad. As since Wade Hustad has taken over that lead, he has not relinquished it. Looking at Matthew Kleinschmidt on the inside of Nicholas Lovell. Level. Yeah.
Just add an L to the end of love and you got it, brother.
Awesome. Well, here we go. Still side by side going into 1 and 2 here. You know, with these fresh tires, there really isn't a huge advantage. Oh, we have a caution here.
Hesgaard's involved. Unfortunate for Mr. Hesgaard.
Looks like Matthew Pont is also involved here. Pardon me. As we will try our best to get coverage of that wreck here.
Oh, it looks like Hesgaard just makes contact with the 38, gets on him, and can't get off of him.
Oh, we just caught the tail end again. My apologies, ladies and gentlemen. Trying to get this this carnage here, and so we can see what happened here. Okay. Nope, that is. I do apologize. We did see that. We did catch the tail end of that. David, can you kind of try to tell us? I mean, was that just incidental contact, or?
It's a racing deal. They were both racing for the same real estate. Hesgaard pushed up just a little bit, and he gets into the 38, and it's just like a magnet. He couldn't get off of him. He did everything he could, and they both hit the wall, and it started spinning.
Well, very unfortunate that I was not able to bring you that replay there. I do apologize again. David, thank you very much for the very precise play-by-play there. Ryan Hesgaard making contact with Matthew Pont, who had already been involved in an earlier incident. So as these guys finish up these pit stops here and start pacing and getting ready to bring out the green flag again, we will take a quick commercial break, guys. We'll bring you the finale of this race here in just a couple minutes. We will see you back here on DRL TV.
Assist to the front bumper, and he hits him again now. Rayon Fowler into the outside wall.
He's going to pass nearly 3 cars down that front straightaway, and he's going to get them all done with. What amazing!
Lead to the inside goes Logan Cloudman is going to touch in. Pit press sideways. What a save!
Look to the outside as Cronkite goes off. De Jong into second place.
Going for the switchback. Oh, pinpoint driving.
It's howling down to the inside.
There's contact though.
And wide left of the racetrack. Chris Venner drives it back down underneath, and he takes that second spot right back. Joker goes to Garrett Lowe.
Garrett Lowe should take victory with all that contact. He's going to try and make the move around the outside the parabolica. That's not going to work, but he's going to try and get the cutback here. Get the run out the parabolica. That's beautifully done there. Michael Schubert, there's a little bit of door banging as well.
And welcome back here to DRL TV. Thank you for staying patient. I did find that wreck here right along with Ryan Hesgard and Matthew Pont here in the Las Vegas 100. Watch these guys battle it out here. Going into turn one, they make a little bit of contact, and that's all it takes as they go flying. And again, I'm very surprised that was only a two-car incident there, David.
Yeah, it could have been a lot worse, but like I said, it just looked to me like Hesgard just pushed up just a little bit more than what he was thinking he was going to.
Correct.
And those two cars was magnets on each other, and they just couldn't get away from each other until they got into the wall. And then you see what happens after that. I mean, cars go flying everywhere.
Well, interesting development here. Jonathan Hustad wins the race out of pit lane. Carl Dotson, Chris Pope, Adam DeBlasio, Steve Turner, Wade Hustad. I imagine some of those drivers ended up using a little bit of strategy to get up front. So Wade Hustad will restart in the 6th position. Jonathan Schwartz will be our leader as we're just about ready to take the green here. Carl Dotson on the inside. This should be interesting here as we get set to restart the DRL Winter Oval Series Las Vegas 100, and Carl Dotson did not get the restart. He wanted. Adam DeBlasio already looking inside here.
Yeah, I'm sitting here giggling. I had to mute my mic. You called him Jonathan Hustad, and I'm sitting here laughing so hard I can't even see straight.
I'm having a time with names tonight, aren't I, David?
Yeah, I know that's right.
Well, Adam DeBlasio is able to clear Carl Dotson, Chris Pope, and Wade Hustad now sets his sights on trying to clear these guys here. But in the meantime, Jonathan Schwartz is going to try to build a little bit of a lead over Adam DeBlasio. As you can see, he just takes that beautiful preferred line, nice and crisp, coming out here. Ooh, Hustad!
Oh no! Wow. He got turned hard.
And he is not the only one involved. Hustad still flipping.
He is still rolling. Wow. That's my favorite line. You called it, man. All I can say is wow.
Wow. Oh my goodness. Absolutely. We got the 87 Mike Springer. Ben Izinga gets involved. Try to look at that one more time here.
Yeah, that's the end of the race for Hustad.
That is Hustad's race. He was looking inside of Christopher Pope, entering turn 1 here. On the exit of turn 1, what happens? What happens? It looks like
he gets hooked.
Chris Pope comes off the wall just a little bit and hooks him right in front of traffic, and everyone spreads out. Again, very surprising, only 2 or 3 cars are involved there. As we will ride along with Chris Pope.
We're talking about 4 cars involved in that. Maybe even 5 as the driver tried to stop on the inside, the bottom of the track there, and was not able to clear them cars. That's just a real unfortunate incident right there.
Just not sure what happened. We were just riding on board with Christopher Pope. His wheel didn't really move. He didn't seem to have the car upset there coming off that corner. We will try to get one more replay here.
I think it just gripped and pulled him down into Hustad.
Again, watching it one more time. Coming off the corner, of course, tight racing here, and it looks like Hustad might have gone up. Chris Pope, obviously, we did see kind of go down a quarter of a lane, maybe? And that's all it takes here, ladies and gentlemen, and a lot of cars did suffer some damage on that one. Wow.
And I believe Hustad's going to be sitting on pit road for quite some time.
We see right now the junkyard, I guess, if you want to call it that, on pit road here as we're watching Steve Turner, who must have got damage from that as well. That's huge. We saw the good racing up front. Wade Hustad kind of got back there from, by virtue of what I believe is other people's pit strategy, and it didn't really pay off for anybody because Chris Pope received damage, Wade Hustad received damage. Very unfortunate for some of the other guys like Mike Springer that also received damage from that, and he was just, you know, wrong place, wrong time.
Well, you know, I'm sitting here looking. We started this race with 27 drivers, and we still have at least the top 19 on the lead lap, and we have, it looks like all the way down to 24 still racing, so not too bad here this evening. Despite the number of yellows that we've had, we are working caution number 5 and caution lap 15. So, and the track temperature is really coming down now. It's now 89 degrees.
Well, having some caution laps will certainly help cool that track down. Again, ladies and gentlemen, this is the Nevada 100. Next week here, we will be going to Michigan, which is going to be kind of the same story here. Lots and lots of speed, but not a whole lot of room to pass, as even though it is one of the widest tracks we go to. Our next broadcast will be this same place tomorrow with the B-split. Again, that'll also be 100 laps, not 50. And just a reminder, if you're watching this broadcast here tonight and you do enjoy you're a fan of one of these race car drivers, you do enjoy the fact that we televise or broadcast rather 3 to 4 different series every single week, please make sure you hit that subscribe button. That way you can be notified anytime that we go live here with a broadcast.
And if you like what you see, give us a big thumbs up, please.
Watching these cars circle around the track one more time here, Las Vegas Motor Speedway here in Nevada. We're looking at the beautiful desert, if that's what you're into. This has just been an incredible race. We've seen the speed. We've seen the margin of error be very, very thin. And like I said, it was one of the first things I said in this broadcast, high risk, high reward, as these cars are just about coming out of turn 2 here, just about ready to take the green flag. Hopefully for the last time here with 30 laps to go. Jonathan Schwartz, Adam de Blasio, and this is, of course, after the caution that takes out one of the race favorites, Wade Hustad here, and a bunch of other fast guys. Obviously, Chris Pope had been in the top 10 for most of this race. Mike Springer, he had been showing some speed as well. So very unfortunate for those guys. As Seth Noel in third place, Matthew Kleinschmidt and Nicholas Lovell is our new top 5 here, with Jurgensen, Theo, and Edwards just behind.
Well, the car I'm looking at is one of my fastest chicken in the South right there, the Matthew Kleinschmidt. Yep. I think he's going to really turn it on here with these last 30 laps.
Schwartz brings him down nice and slow and then accelerates, and that will give Adam de Blasio and Seth Noel a little side-by-side battle heading into 1 and 2 here as Jonathan Schwartz clears the entire pack. Second place, Seth Noel actually ends up clearing Adam de Blasio, with Matthew Kleinschmidt just behind both of these guys, side-by-side behind him, Nathan Jurgensen and Nicholas Lovell fighting it out to stay within that top 5.
Got some awesome racing going on back here in the back as well.
Ooh! Who is that? That was Nicholas Lovell. He absolutely destroyed that outside wall. It does stay green, but his race, at least from a competitive standpoint, is just about over. That is a lot of damage he took there. Looking here at the inside of Adam de Blasio is the 33 car of Seth Noel. It doesn't quite get it done. Again, making passes on the inside, not exactly the best way to go about your day, rather. And here, looking at back here at this mess that David Wellborn was speaking about here, riding on board with Richard Lucky, the 41 car, and look at this pack. Some of these cars have damage. Some of these cars have moderate, slim. And it's crazy now because we've been going 73 laps here. We've seen some caution, we've seen some wall scrubs. So a lot of different guys. Oh my goodness, 3 wide almost. A lot of different guys have different strategies at this race. 3 wide back there. Turner, Crotson, and the 8 car PJ O'Leary.
Now as we come back up front, Jurgensen is doing everything he can to get around Lovell. I mean, Novell. Wow.
Sorry, my bad.
Yeah.
Bellagio is also really kind of working the back of Jonathan Schwartz as well. And we're getting to that point of time where, oh my goodness, we have to go back there. Look at this battle here. 2x2x2. I mean, they could be running 6 wide right now. These guys are absolutely fighting for every position that they can have here. 25 laps to go.
Well, we may see some 6 wide racing when we get to Michigan for sure, but I don't think this is the track that you want to try 6 wide at.
No, absolutely not. These guys really kind of starting to get spread out there a little bit, but incredible racing there. Jim Westerfield kind of leading that pack out of it now as they go back to single file. We will go back up here up front. Oh, Bellagio gets turned.
And he is done. I just heard it blow. And we stay green flag racing, but I don't know if anybody's noticed, but the sun just went away.
We're gonna go on board with Matthew Kleinschmidt, a notorious clean racer here. We're gonna kind of see what happened. Again, we are riding up. This is a replay of what happened here just moments ago with Adam Bellagio, our second place, as he was trying to get a position there on Jonathan Schwartz, and Bellagio just comes right down on Kleinschmidt. No fault of Kleinschmidt's there, that's for sure. We'll take one more look at that, David.
Yeah, you got, just because that spotter says clear, you're not clear. That's why I love my VR.
Kleinschmidt holding his own. Yep, no, that is Bellagio just not, and he absolutely destroys that wall, guys. Oh my goodness. So we will go back live here up front. Jonathan Schwartz, all of a sudden, a lot of these guys that were in his rear view mirror have kind of left the race now. But now look at some of these other guys that are taking advantage. We have Jurgensen in 4th, Jonathan Theodore in 5th, Bill Edwards in 6th, and John Dubuque, who was kind of involved in this one earlier, he is up to 7th now. Kleinschmidt trying to work the back of Jonathan Schwartz here.
And he did take a little bit of right front damage over that, but he is not letting Schwartz get away. In fact, he keeps closing the gap on him. As we got Jurgensen working the inside of Novell.
Ooh, and Theodore trying to get a little bit of a run. Actually, Bill Edwards trying to get a run on the outside of Theodore here.
Theodore is still battling on the inside there with Edwards.
We are on board with Bill Edwards here as he dives into turn 1 right behind Nathan Jurgensen there. Trying to get a little bit of a run there on the outside. And he does. He gets a huge run.
It looks like the 68 is back out on the track for all of you Harmon fans. 3 wide. Wow.
3 wide, and we're also looking, if you can see just out in front of these guys, Matt Kleinschmidt is really working Jonathan Schwartz. And we got a slow car, Ben Izinga, trying to get out of the way here. Again, on board with Jonathan Schwartz, our leader. Looking back, there is a little bit of damage on Matt Kleinschmidt, but if Matt Kleinschmidt stays tucked back into Jonathan Schwartz's air, it's not really going to affect him all as much as it would if he was leading.
Kleinschmidt is so close to him. It's just unreal.
On board with Matthew Kleinschmidt now as they go down into turn 1 here. And he's actually using that bottom line. He is actually getting a little bit of a run here. And we have a caution. Oh my goodness. David, it is a big one.
Yeah, P.J. O'Leary's involved in that, but I think Richard Lucky pulls out the most damage out of that as he is smoking down the road there.
Jonathan Theodore. It looks like he is the initiator, or not the initiator, but he is where the caution starts, and then behind them, he does take a lot of casualties with him. We will get a replay of that here. John Theodore.
Ooh. Wow.
Actually, it wasn't even John Theodore. John Theodore was checking up, and he got spun by Jonathan Dubuque. It was the 33 car. And my goodness, look at the damage behind him. Just a little bit of a spin here stacks up the whole field, and we'll get a replay of Seth Noel going into turn 1 here. And Bill Edwards taking his second victim of the race here.
Well, he definitely tries to hang on to it. I mean, he was slipping and sliding all the way coming out, and Noel, I mean, he done an awesome job at trying to hang on to that car. But you know, I went back and looked at it again, and you know, it looked to me like he just comes down a little bit on Bill Edwards. I wouldn't put that on Edwards.
We are riding on board with Bill Edwards here. As he gets inside, he gets a huge run on Jurgensen and Noel first, and then I think, I think you're right. It's just kind of a matter of two different apexes there. Try to look at that one more time here. Heading off into turn one here.
Yeah, it looked to me like he just was trying to turn in on Edwards, and Edwards was still going straight.
Yeah, Edwards was still going straight. I don't think either driver compensated very well for a side-by-side battle. I can't place the blame on either one, but you can't say that it wasn't either one's fault there in that situation. So we do get the green flag pit stops here. Some of these guys will be able to fix their damage. Unfortunately, Matt Kleinschmidt, in order to maintain that second spot, he's not going to really be able to fix any of that damage. So we'll see what he can do on this restart. We will have less than 20 to go, less than 15 to go, actually. And this has been kind of, you know, we had opportunities there with some great green flag racing, and then all of a sudden it kind of turned into a bumper car series here with just these little tiny bumps that are just doing catastrophic amounts of damage here. And the points implications here are actually pretty huge. Steve Turner, who has been involved in a wreck. John Theodore, who's been involved in a wreck. Ryan Esgard. Ryan Berry, who's actually not here tonight. Nicholas Lovell. We've seen all these guys here. Matthew Kleinschmidt in 8th position here in the points, looking to really make a huge jump up, as all those guys ahead of him have either not shown up for today's race or have been involved and have heavy damage.
Well, Lovell is, you know, he's hanging in there, and I can't disagree. You know, here of late, you know, it's come down, it's crunch time. You got to go fast or go home now. There's no holds barred now. You got less than 15 laps to go when we go back green flag racing. And I'm looking for Kleinschmidt to actually pour it on now. And I wouldn't have come down pit road either. If I'm the leaders, no, I'm staying out. Track position is the key here tonight.
Mm-hmm. No, absolutely. You know, you're absolutely right. We've seen that track position here is key. Just look at Wade Hustad, who, even though he was still in a good position in 5th, just being back there kind of in the mess, you know, ended up ruining his evening. So he is still in the race, but he is 18 laps down in 23rd, not the finish that he was looking for. As most of these guys, you can see the list of drivers that are trying to fix some of this damage that they've incurred during this event here tonight. And again, I just want to thank all the viewers here for tuning in. Still, you know, regardless of the fact that we've had a couple more cautions than perhaps you'd want to see, it's been great side-by-side battles. 3 wide, almost 4 wide, all the way to the wall, all the way down to the grass. I mean, these guys are really putting on a show tonight. So this has been absolutely exciting, and it really sets the tone for tomorrow's event too. Tomorrow, again, a reminder to everyone else who's watching tonight, tune back in tomorrow, same time. We're going to be at the same place, in the same cars. We're just going to have a different set of drivers. So hopefully some of the drivers that race tomorrow maybe take some notes here.
Well, again, ladies and gentlemen, if you like what you see, hit subscribe. If you really like what you see, hit the thumbs up. And if you want to get some swag, we got a link below in the description there. We got some t-shirts, we got hoodies, we got coffee cups. We got a couple of drivers that's put in their own nice t-shirts and sweatshirts as well. So check out our link below and maybe hook yourself up with a nice t-shirt or hoodie.
Yeah, I mean, it's here where I live, it's starting to get a little chilly, so a hoodie wouldn't be too bad of an idea. As we're just about set to go green here, Jonathan Schwartz, still in command of this lead, will be taking this field. He's kind of taking him down real slow like, and this time he does accelerate just a little bit sooner, and he gets a great jump, and Jurgensen is actually going to get a good jump on Kleinschmidt. And Jurgensen could actually almost clear him going into turn 1 here.
Almost only counts in horseshoes and hand grenades.
True story. And Jurgensen does clear him quite easily, and it'll be his turn to try to work the back of Jonathan Schwartz and see what he can do. As looking up here in the top 5, welcome back Carl Dotson. He's back in the top 5 here for the first time in a long time after suffering a huge amount of position losses there on that one, the second, I believe it was the second restart of the evening.
And he still has very minimal damage to the rear end of his car, so
well, he's had a few cautions. Had a few cautions to fix anything he had wrong with him, if there was anything. Now 12 to go, David. Jurgensen, Kleinschmidt, they're going to be kind of busy battling it out here. This is exactly what Jonathan Schwartz wants to see.
Well, I said it earlier, if you're going to be doing battle, you're going to let that leader get away. And Jurgensen is definitely gaining on our leader. That's for sure.
Yeah, Kleinschmidt was kind of peeking there on the inside a couple laps ago, but now he has since cleared him not easily, but with a substantial gap, and sets his sights here on Jonathan Schwartz. The draft will play a little bit of a factor here, but Schwartz, although he's been leading, it doesn't seem like he has really the race-winning car tonight. It seems like he's been able to get caught by people like Kleinschmidt, who actually had front-end damage here. So Schwartz here trying to hang on with 11 laps to go, 10 laps to go rather. And Jurgensen is gaining on him, David. You are correct. But gaining and passing are two different things.
I don't know, man. We got 10 laps to go. I know how Jurgensen drives. He's almost a Tater Bowman, Sleeping Bowman. We're going to have to come up with a really good nickname for Jurgensen. But, I mean, just to see him, gain just a couple of tenths every lap. So, when it comes down, we might have a really close finish when we come off turn 3 and 4.
And Jurgensen, as we saw there, I mean, he's not a stranger to iRacing, 5,300 iRating, so he knows what he's doing here. But it's just, is the situation enough for him to catch and pass Schwartz? We're starting to get the laps here winding down. What Jurgensen doesn't want to see is a caution. He wants every green flag lap, every opportunity to catch and pass Schwartz here and get his first win here in the DRL.
None of us want to see a yellow flag at this point. We want to see this thing finish under green, sure.
And the lead kind of maintained, it's almost the same gap. Jurgensen gets a little bit on him there in 1 and 2, but we saw earlier that Jonathan Schwartz just doesn't get a great run out of 1 and 2, as that's where Kleinschmidt was catching him earlier. But you see out the 3 and 4, he does kind of extend that gap just about to where it was here. So, I mean, if you're going to be good at an end of a track, 3 and 4 is kind of where you want to be.
That's where I want to be good at. Get that run going across the start-finish line. I don't want my drag slowing me down. I don't want to lose grip. I don't want to have to fight my wheel. I want to be able to be real smooth coming out of 3 and 4, so I've got my good power coming down to the start-finish line.
Looking back here at Jurgensen, just gaining ever so slightly. It's going to be down to who doesn't mess up here, it looks like almost. And Schwartz, Jurgensen still taking that inside approach here, which doesn't allow him to get that great run off, but he does catch him a little bit through the center of the corner. And of course, Jonathan Schwartz taking what I would call the preferred line, that middle off.
And I'm looking at the times, and you're exactly right. He'll gain, and then he loses it. Now he's even losing more, as he's already 4.4 seconds back, and they are still battling traffic. Maybe this will come into play, maybe it won't, but you got to think that Jurgensen is really hungry for his first win.
He's got a lot of work to do. He keeps just losing just a little bit there. Again, Schwartz with that, he's going to get those great runs off because of the line that he's taking. And he's also got that clean air, so we'll see what happens here with 5 laps to go as Jonathan Schwartz leads Nathan Jurgensen by 0.4 seconds. Kleinschmidt just behind him. Bill Edwards, John Dubuque round out your top 5. Carl Dotson is in 6th position.
And it looks like Bill Edwards is all over the back end of Kleinschmidt trying to make it for that position there. he's looking to try to gain over in that top 3.
And looking at that battle there, for now, until we get 1 or 2 to go here, if Jurgensen can catch Jonathan Schwartz, that again, it's weird because it seems like the 4 of these cars can't gain or lose on one another right now. It's very interesting considering earlier in the race these guys were all over each other, and now they can't catch each other.
Well, I think Jonathan Schwartz was holding back a little bit, to be honest with you, for this late run here this evening, and it's paying off for him for sure.
We're looking back here just real quick. I couldn't help but notice we had a 3 wide battle. Carl Dotson, he might have been down on power because again he was Westerfield almost getting into Turner. He just keeps dropping like I guess like a fly. I don't know, whatever term you want to use. It looks like Bill Edwards is in the inside of Matthew Kleinschmidt. 3 laps to go, 2 laps to go here as soon as Jonathan Schwartz crosses the start-finish line.
Well, I'd keep chopping the nose right there on Bill Edwards to try to hang on to that position. Be doing a little bit of mirror driving if I want to continue here with the top 3 in this end of this race here.
Again, the lead is maintained. Been about the same here between Jonathan Schwartz and Nathan Jurgensen here. As we will get the 1 to go here in just a couple feet. Jonathan Schwartz looking for his first win here in the Winter Oval Series. Final lap here at Las Vegas Motor Speedway.
Well, I can go ahead and call this race. Without him hitting the wall, he's probably going to walk away with the win.
And impressive runs there by Jurgensen, Kleinschmidt, Bill Edwards. John Dubuque will get his first DRL top 5, I believe. And Carl...
Edwards on the inside of Kleinschmidt. They're going to be battling it out when they come across the start-finish line.
And Jonathan Schwartz will win. And Kleinschmidt just gets him. Kleinschmidt just gets him.
Awesome job by Kleinschmidt. Even coming back from that little bit of damage that he got with that contact that he made. Just awesome race here tonight, ladies and gentlemen. We did have...
Watching some of these other cars here finish as Jonathan Schwartz is our winner tonight. As soon as it kind of seemed like as soon as somebody got the lead, you just couldn't pass them. So, very incredible racing. A little bit of strategy involved, with Jonathan Schwartz getting out front on that pit strategy. Incredible, and watch him burn it down here.
Well, not too bad of a race here tonight. We had 6 cautions for 23 laps, so that's not too bad.
No, not too bad at all. Again, Jonathan Schwartz, your race winner tonight. And we will start bringing some of these guys in here.
Who you want to start with?
Let's start with Mr. John Dubuque, a new addition here to the Dynasty Racing League. If he is available to speak. Which I'm not thinking that he is, actually. So if he's not here...
Hang on a second. Getty, I don't see him anywhere, brother.
Well, that's okay. We will move on to the next one. We will move on to Mr. Bill Edwards here, the beautiful rainbow-colored car that he's racing tonight.
I do love that paint job, that skull on the front of it, man. That is awesome here.
No, it absolutely is. Bill Edwards, you got a copy, sir?
Yeah, I'm here.
You had a good run there. You kind of got tangled up there a couple times. Can you walk us through that last incident you had with the 33? It seemed as if you guys were just fighting for the same real estate.
Oh, yeah, that's definitely all it was. I think he's a little upset about it since he's parked in front of me. But, yeah, we both ran the corner. I was getting ready to turn down into my turn, and he turned left before I was expecting him to. I didn't even get a 0x out of it. I believe I got a 0x for the whole race here. So I think there's a little netcode involved there too.
Yeah, we also saw another incident with you and the 71. It just very, very interesting, interesting stuff tonight here at Las Vegas. But you come away with the top 5 here in the Winter Series at Las Vegas. You know, kind of tell us what that means for you.
Oh, quite a bit. I'm just happy to. I told the guys in Discord tonight. I was like, I'm just gonna finish this race. I almost wiped myself out of it a couple times here, but. No, that was my biggest goal because I've been having a hard time finishing some of these. So it was a fun race, and yeah, it is. I mean, I'm sure in the broadcast there's nothing intentional about anything. That with was it 74? Was the one before that? I just got such a huge run, and I actually tried to tap him, just kind of hopefully break up because we were side by side with some other cars too. So I was just trying to bump him, get him moving a little bit, but
no, it's actually I kind of called it as that way. But David, do you have anything here for Mr. Bill Edwards?
I just want to say that he didn't want to wreck him. He just wanted to scare him a little bit. I know another driver that said that same comment, but yeah. Shout outs, man. You got them?
Oh, well, I got to give a shout out to S2R. I know overall S2R didn't have the best night tonight, so I'm glad I could represent for him here. I got to give a shout out to my mom and my girlfriend who are watching. And DRL as a whole here, man. You guys put on a heck of a show, and I'm going to enjoy watching this one.
Now, you painted that car, right?
Yes, I did. Yep.
Wow.
Concepts.com. Yep, this was a newer one. I just kind of took our Reaper that we have and decided I did the same thing with the Skip Barber car, and I just plastered it all the way over the full front of the car.
I'm telling you, that's an awesome paint job. I might have to get you to paint me one, but you're going to have to keep my Texaco Haviland on my car, whatever you do with it. But I definitely thinking about getting you to do me one, brother.
Yep, definitely. No problem.
Well, all right. Well, good night, and thank you for the interview, and congratulations on your top 5 finish.
Thanks a lot, guys. You guys have a good.
Take it easy, Mr. Edwards. And that was Bill Edwards. He started 22nd, and through the series of events there during the race, he actually finishes 4th. So that's a great run by him. As we will head to our 3rd place finisher, Mr. Matthew Kleinschmidt. If I can find Mr. Matthew Kleinschmidt here in the Discord.
Kleinschmidt, you got a copy?
Yep.
Well, Mr. Kleinschmidt, not a bad job for you here tonight. Pull you up here just a second. You started this race in 8th, and you come home with a top 3. Glad you're representing that chicken again. Walk us through your race, brother.
Yeah, it was a good race. It was fun. I didn't know how I was going to stand with all these good drivers in this league, but I stayed up in the top 10 the whole race and was there when it counted in the end. Avoided a couple wrecks there, and I want to apologize to Adam. I think we had some bad timing there, and I spun him, but it's part of racing.
Yeah, well, that's what I thought as well. Maybe he checked up a little bit, and you wasn't expecting the timing to go there. What do you got for him?
No, Kleinschmidt, I mean, you've had an impressive streak of runs here, almost winning in the Pro Series. It seems like one of your main issues as of late, as what Bill mentioned earlier, is just kind of surviving some of these races. You do a great job. You had that little scare with Adam de Blasio, but you finished 3rd here. And, moving on to Michigan, is this something we can kind of expect you to see running up here with these top dogs?
Well, this track is one of my favorite tracks, so I always do pretty well here. I also like Michigan, so I like these 1.5 mile and 2 mile tracks. So we'll see what we can do. I think I can compete.
Awesome. Well, it's always great to hear from you. It's always great to see a race. You and Bill had an excellent race there for the battle for 3rd there across the start-finish line. Give us any shout-outs that you have there, Mr. Kleinschmidt.
Yeah, I want to shout out to all the league admins and you guys for doing the broadcast, and everybody that came out tonight and put on a good.
Awesome. Matthew Kleinschmidt is our 3rd place finisher tonight. And hopefully, we'll see you next week at Michigan. Hopefully, we have an opportunity to interview you again, Mr. Kleinschmidt.
Yeah, hopefully. Hopefully, I'll be up there in the front.
Awesome. Well, always a pleasure, man. We will see you next time.
right, thanks, guys.
Bringing in our second place finisher here, Mr. Nathan Jurgensen. Nathan Jurgensen, you got a copy, sir?
Yes, can you hear me?
Yes, sir. Absolutely. Great run tonight. You're floating around that top 5 position for most of it. That final restart, you had an opportunity there, Jonathan Schwartz, just couldn't quite get it done. Describe your race overall for us.
I was starting up front and was going to kind of run up front. I think a couple of guys, especially Adam de Blasio, probably had me covered for sure. And then I went ahead and slid through my pit stall twice. I have no clue why that is. That's pretty embarrassing and kind of sent me to the back of the pack. And so I was running, around 10th for a lot of the race, and it's just really, really hard to pass. But I was able to make some passes, miss a couple of wrecks, and keep it clean through the rest of the race. And it was, that last restart, I was hoping I'd have something for him. We were kind of just trading lap times. He'd be a little better, I'd be a little better. I think best case scenario, even if I caught him, I don't think I'd have been able to pass him. So, big congrats to him on the win.
Well, that was my biggest question, is if you caught him, was you going to be able to pass him? And you apparently already answered that. But you started 4th, man. You come home with a top 2 out of it, top 3 out of everything. Great racing. Love to watch you race here on these tracks. You're new to this series, but you're not new to iRacing for sure with that iRating that you have.
I've only been on here for a year, so I still kind of consider myself a rookie.
Wow, I wished I had an iRating like that. It only been here on a year, but I've been here since day 1. Well, actually, maybe about day 6. So, but I really destroyed my iRating back in the beginning. So there's just no coming back from that.
Got into the negatives, you could never get back.
Well,
I ain't in the negative.
Mr. Jurgensen, we see in the Pro Series, we see in the Winter Series, you're getting close to sniffing. You're getting your first DRL win. Quickly, before you give your shout-outs, what are your chances next week as we go to Michigan?
I'm a short track racer. I'm getting to like these bigger tracks and figure them out. And this kind of, don't barely lift through the corners kind of racing we did tonight is, really not my comfort zone. So I'm trying to learn. I'm trying to figure it out. So Michigan Auto Club are probably my 2 worst tracks. So I'll just try to, keep out of everyone's way and see what happens.
Well, a little hint going into Michigan, crack the throttle just for a split second and get right back on the gas and start turning really hard to the left. That car will stick for you. Feather it just a little bit coming off, and you're good to go.
You're running the right series when the announcers are letting you know how to drive. I could take any tips you can give me.
Well, I can't give you any, but what I can give you is an opportunity to give some shout-outs here, Mr. Jurgensen.
Yeah, so first to you all putting on the race and the broadcasting and anyone watching the broadcast over on YouTube. So shout outs to all of you. Shout out to John Theodore in the race and Adam de Blasio. We were kind of working together and talking during the race, and always love racing with them. And the biggest shout out I want to give is, I don't know if you can see on I don't know if you're looking at my car right now, Beast Racing. I've just joined Beast Racing. It's a team that we're going to focus on Road to Pro next year. So this is my first year in iRacing. I kind of went the NIS route. And then this next year, I'm going to try Road to Pro and some open setup stuff. And so really excited to be working with those guys. They're really, really awesome guys. Take it really seriously. And I'm super excited to be running their colors on my car.
Well, I hope you make it into the pros, man, and then maybe one day work yourself up into the NASCAR Peak Antifreeze Series. Get you some good sponsorship and maybe find you a decent crew chief. Open setups are no joke, and you're going to have 3 or 4 setups going into the race, and you're going to really have to start monitoring track temperatures at the beginning of the race and anticipate whether it's going to cool or whether it's going to heat. Especially with this new dynamic package, everything's going to be a new learning curve. So get you a decent crew chief, man.
Well, that's the advantage. The Beast Racing, these guys are serious, they're smart, and they've been doing this stuff, and they know more about that stuff than I do. I hope to learn.
Awesome.
Well,
Nathan.
good luck.
Yeah, no, good luck on that, and good luck next week. It might be not one of your best race tracks you think until you go there, and maybe you have some speed. Who knows? So we'll find out next week, man. And we'll probably see you. No, please.
And happy holidays.
Awesome.
Happy holidays.
Thank you, Nathan. That was Nathan Jurgensen, our second place finisher here. We will pull in Jonathan Schwartz. Jonathan Schwartz, who we talked to earlier in the race as our pole sitter. Jonathan, how's it going, buddy?
Yeah, I'm doing great.
There on that last restart, it seemed like you were really getting pressure, but just no one could pass tonight. We saw Kleinschmidt attempt. We saw you trying to pass Wade. Nathan Jurgensen on that last restart he was trying to keep up and pass. Was it so hard to pass tonight that it just basically came down to who restarted in first?
Definitely. This track's definitely a one groove racetrack all the way around. The high groove was a little bit better. So I knew once I got the clean air and I ran the middle line, nobody would be able to get a big enough run to get by me, because you'd have to position yourself on the outside to even have a chance to get around the guy in front of you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we saw you battling out with Wade, and it seemed like passing was certainly the most challenging aspect of tonight's race. You're able to keep your nose clean. You led some laps. You got a win. Are you going to be joining us next week at Michigan?
Yeah, I'll be back after the holidays, so hopefully I can run every race this season and get a shot at maybe the title.
Oh, awesome, Jonathan. Well, it's always a pleasure to talk to you, man. Why don't you give us some shout-outs if you can?
I'd like to thank my teammate Mike Springer for coming to the races, and unfortunately got wrecked out tonight in unfortunate circumstances, but he stayed and spotted me for the last few laps, so appreciate that from him. And thank you guys for broadcasting every week. Thank everybody from the league for coming out and doing this every week for us, and hope everybody has a Merry Christmas.
Awesome. David, you got anything here for Mr. Schwartz?
Just going to let him know he's standing a really good chance at coming away at least with a championship if he can continue on with this winning and getting up front for the qualifying. I know he missed out just a little bit in our championship series during the 2018, but if he keeps it up, he's probably going to walk away with a nice championship here in our winter series.
All right, Jonathan. Well, hey, you have a good night, and we'll see you at Michigan, my man.
All right, have a good one.
That was Jonathan Schwartz here as we take the last look at him before we start moving on to these unofficial results. Again, an incredible race here tonight. Jonathan Schwartz leading 43 of the 100 laps that were scheduled. And
hang on. Let's grab Dubuque. He finally jumped into our waiting room.
Okay.
Our fifth place finisher. Well, I'll pull him up.
I got him.
There you go.
Mr. Dubuque, you got a copy, sir?
Hey, guys, I got you.
All right. Well, it seemed like you had a pretty eventful race there, but you come away with a top 5 finish here in the DRL Winter Oval Series. Kind of walk us through your race and tell us how it feels to get that top 5.
Yeah, it feels really good with the competition out here. We got some really good drivers, so I feel very fortunate to get a top 5. Probably due to some bad luck on some of the other drivers. I want to give a shout out to John Theodore. I got into the back of him under that last yellow and caused him to lose some spots, so that was on me. But yeah, earlier in the race, I got a little bit of contact in the rear in the middle of 1 and 2, barely held on to it, but lost all my positions, and then just tried to hang in there and see what the race would give me, and it turned out pretty good for me.
Well, I'm going to tell you right now, you started this race in 20th, and you did an awesome job to come up and finish in the top 5, and you did some awesome battling up there as well. So, I mean, nothing to sneeze at, man. You come in this race, like I said, you started 20th, you get a top 5 finish out of it. Not too bad of a deal there.
Thanks, I appreciate it. Yeah, it was some effort, but just being patient, hanging in there, and trying to take the opportunities when they presented themselves.
Awesome, John.
Well, that's racing.
Yeah, right. Well, welcome to the Dynasty Racing League. Congratulations on your top 5, man. If you can, give us a shout out here real quick, bud.
Hey, yeah, I really appreciate the way you guys run this league. It seems great, and all the drivers. It's a great, refreshing experience to be out here with some pretty stiff competition and pretty good racing.
Oh, John, you can do better than that. Give us a good shout out. I mean, not us, but give your shout-outs. Who do you have to thank here today?
I guess I would like to thank iRacing for giving us this wonderful simulation. And honestly, I do appreciate the league. I'm relatively new to iRacing, been doing this just going on my first year. So, you know, had a bunch of open server racing like that, but I was looking for something better. And found you guys and really happy to be here.
So wife, girlfriend, none of that matters to you?
John,
it's all racing. 24
right,
hours,
right. That's right.
24/7, right, guys?
I hear you, brother.
John, it was a pleasure talking to you again. Congratulations on the top 5, and we will see you at Michigan, sir.
Thanks, guys.
I had to give him a little fun there at the end, you know. My wife is really not understanding at all when it comes to me doing these broadcasting. She's every day. If I don't hear it once, I hear it at least 3 times a day. She hopes this bleepity bleep 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 computer blows up. So, yeah, I got to thank my wife every time I come to do these broadcasts. She just can't stand that I spend my time on these computers all day long. But you know, I mean, that's my thing. She wants to watch TV. I want to be on the computer.
Well, yeah, I mean, people like what they like, and you know what? Here today we had a great race, David. So I do appreciate you taking the time and joining me here tonight. Jonathan Schwartz leading 43 laps. Steve Turner, you know, we saw a lot of those guys that were up front at the beginning of the race did not finish up front. So we certainly find out that it's a battle of survival here, and getting that extra 100 laps or that extra 50 laps tonight ended up making a huge difference. So, you know, looking here at the bottom of the standings with Wade Hustad and, you know, John Mullins, some of these guys that did not have the finish that they wanted. But, again, this was the Las Vegas, Nevada 100, and tomorrow it will be the same thing with just different drivers. And then we will be back January 1, I believe that says. I'm not sure if that's absolutely correct. I think I'm not sure if we will be running on New Year's Day, but we will be at Michigan regardless. And again, thanking all the names here of the Dynasty Racing League. David, is there anyone else that you want to give a little shout out to before we sign off here, bud?
I got to shout out to my wife, man, because I was asleep and she woke me up and said, "Aren't you broadcasting tonight?" And I'm like, no, but I better go in there and see if we got a broadcaster for tonight. So, yeah, give a big shout out to my wife.
Absolutely. I make sure to do that any opportunity that I get. Again, guys, if you like the broadcast, we'll be back on tomorrow. We broadcast Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. So if you like racing or if you like any of these drivers in particular, please make sure to subscribe, and we will see you on the next broadcast. This has been DRL TV with David Wellborn. I'm Getty Buckner. We'll see you next time.